Hello everybody, today I have something quite interesting to share with you, and it's right behind me, so let's take a look at it. This is a end of runway light. Now, the story that I'm going to tell here is probably going to be all over the place, but I guess we'll start with where this thing came from. I have two of these, and they came from a local airport. My dad designs airports, and the local airport was probably getting newer lighting. And of course I have two of these. So what these are end of runway lights, and they would go at the end of the runway on either side, and I believe they would shine off to where the airplanes come in to help distinguish that it's a runway versus a taxiway or something like that. Inside they have xenon tubes, so it produces a white light, which is, I guess, easy for the airplanes to see when they're coming in. Now these are really big ones. I actually have another end of runway light by a different company inside, but these are made by Sylvania, and they're quite unique. I've never turned them on before because usually airport lighting is on, I think, 6.6 amp circuits, series circuits that is. So usually whenever I get the runway lights, which I do have a video of on my channel somewhere, just the standard taxiway lights and variety of colors, those I have to convert to 120 volt because they're made for series circuits. Anyway, back to this fixture itself. I guess we can take a little tour around it now that we know what it is and where it came from and what light it produces. So here we have the sticker, or the plaque for the light, and I'm gonna try my best to see if we can get a glimpse of it, because it's very hard to read, but I believe it. Oh, this one, okay, there, yeah. Sylvania. It says Aviation Lighting CD series. It's very hard to read. Volts, you can't really see on there. You can read the type there. Maybe, hopefully you can. So yeah, these tags are very well worn from all the years of use, but very cool. Sylvania. Yeah, I can't read what the voltage is or watts or anything, but we can take a look inside and see what we find. So normally on these lights, I believe it'd be mounted right here, or it's on this part. Let me see. Yeah, it's on, might be this part. There's a mounting bracket, and I have those brackets, and then it sits on a pipe, so you can aim it up at the appropriate angle. I can't remember what the angle is, but yeah, this is probably the bottom, according to the vents, so that water can drip over them. So, it was either here, I think here is where the bracket was, and then there'd be a pipe. And I have those, but they're not right here because they're not necessary for the video. But we have air vents on either side of the fixture. And this thing is huge. I want to say maybe 14 inches across. It's pretty big. Usually the end of runway lights that I see aren't this gigantic. They're smaller, maybe about this size. The bulb is anyway. At least the one that I have inside is. And so both of them that I have are identical. The only difference is that the other one that I have, somebody repainted the back, probably because the paint was falling off, but that's the only difference. So what we need to do now is loosen this bolt, which I leave loose because then I can get into the fixture much easier. And there's a hinge here on this side. And the hinge will allow us to open up the fixture. Here's the other bolt. Again, these would normally be tightened quite a bit so it doesn't open when it's not needed. So yeah, there's the hinge, and here is where it would mount. So this would swing open, you know, this way. And it looks like we have air vents on both ends here, and the xenon tube, and that wasp or bee is still in there over all these years. And we'll open it up. And it can't focus on anything. So, lots of electronics inside of this. Here we have, I think it's some type of a capacitor. Looks very old, whatever it is. Not too sure. Should know, but I don't. And lots of other various electronics in here, resistors, wiring of all kinds. There's the base of the bulb. I have taken that out, and you can. You loosen these little plastic screws here, and you just twist it, and it comes right on out. So that is the bulb side of things. Down in here is the rest of the workings. The wires would come in there, and they go into these terminals. Now, I don't have a wiring diagram for this, but they go in these terminals here. I don't remember what one is the main power, and I don't think it was wired up when we got it anyway, so that wouldn't help. It looks like some type of a relay is my guess as to what that is. Could be totally wrong, though. That's a crazy insulator right there. Here we have a ballast, or transformer. Looks at the different voltages it puts out, and it looks like it takes in 120. So this might be a 120 volt light. We'll have to try that out. I believe this is another transformer. Kind of reminds me of a neon transformer. Of course, it is a xenon tube, so it has to have a lot of power, I suppose. There's no markings on it, really. Oh, here we go. Let's move this wire out of the way. So that's what's on it. Looks like it puts out 2000 volts DC. That's a lot of power. And it says R5, so I'm guessing it's some type of a resistor. There we have a fuse for the light. Not too sure what this is, but it just sits there. Looks like it used to sit on there, but they literally just fixed the light by doing whatever they did here. So I'm not too sure what this is, but it just kind of dangles there. I think that's something they replaced. And there's a fuse. Looks like they stored the fuses right in here. They must have blew quite frequently or something. I haven't had this open in a while. So yeah, there's the fuse for the light itself. And let's see what this is. Can't really read it from the angle that I'm looking. These things are interesting. Are they resistors? You know, I should be more knowledgeable about that stuff, but I really don't know. And this module here appears to be the flasher. It says voltage 115 volt AC. Okay, well that's another good indicator. This must be 120 volt. And here we have switches to make sure that the fixture is closed before it operates. So both of these have to be pushed down before the fixture is allowed to operate, and that's where they get pushed down into. So there is the whole fixture itself. Pretty cool. Like I say, I don't know too much about everything in it, other than there's a lot of high voltage stuff going on in here. And it has to be quite accurate and quite reliable, because we're landing airplanes, and that needs to be done correctly. Now, one thing you can see here is, looks like the wiring is a little either chewed up or just old. So if we do turn one of these on, I think I'll have to look in the other one and see if it isn't like this. So you know what, actually, I'm going to get the other one down and we'll look inside that. So here's the back of the one that we were just looking inside of. You can see the Sylvania logo there, and there's nothing there. But here's the other one. You can see they repainted the back where that one's still original, and they painted right over the vent too. But here's another sticker, and this one says 240 volts, so maybe it isn't for 120, or maybe they were special ordered differently than the sticker here on the back. But it says Sylvania GTE. I'm gonna guess Boston Street, Salem, Massachusetts. And the Sylvania logo there as well. Here's where the wires would come in. And this is where the part would be to mount, of course. So I put it up here on the top of the table. And again, you can see the Xeon arc tube inside. And the glass is made by Pyrex. Very nice. Made in the USA, of course. So let's open this up. So it looks the same inside, for the most part, like that one. Here's our big capacitor or whatever this is. Still don't know. It does say something on it though, if anybody can read it. Here's a different, looks like in the other one, that resistor or whatever that is was replaced. Oh, come on. 120 volt, 240 volt. I don't know. Bottom view. Not too sure what that is. Again, I should, but I don't. Here's the bulb. Looks slightly different than the other one. Resistors. Terminal block, obviously. Looks like it's wired slightly different too, because in the other one I think this was down lower. So here's the main terminals, and it looks like these two are up. So I'm guessing that's where the wires came in to power this thing. And we have this relay, I'm guessing, again, is what that is. Here's our transformer. Looks like it's putting out 1450 volts. It's just interesting to look at, you know, it's so kind of complicated. And here is what probably was original on that other one. No, that might have been a replacement as well. Whatever this thing is, this one's much smaller than the other fixture. And this is much smaller. So this must have been replaced too. Still have that giant resistor there. At least I think that's what that is. Whatever, what's this? Okay. Maybe when they replace something. Here's another wire that goes, oh, that's a grounding wire. The fuse, and look what we found. Fuses. Let's see what's in it, actually. It is 10 amp, 250 volt. So that's what it says. Okay, now this is going to be hard to put back in, but I will do it with one hand. Okay. I need to line it up. That'd probably help. There we go. Yeah. So, lots of interesting things inside. You can see here they added like a whole bunch of paper and whatnot for these switches so that they get actually pushed down. And it looks like they had to replace that switch. And that one looks original. This doesn't have any markings on it. Maybe the other bigger one in the other fixture is not original. I don't know. Well, guess we can follow these cords around, and I'm going to follow them around and see where they go, and maybe we can turn these things on. While I was looking through this, tracing the wires to see how to wire it up correctly, I noticed this thing is broken. I'm not too sure what it is, but it looks like it's somewhat important because it goes to the terminal right there. So, I don't know, it looks like it's ceramic in the middle. Interesting. I'm sure somebody can tell me what it is. So yeah, that's too bad. The other one has wires that are all chewed up, and this one has a broken thingamajig. So maybe we won't be able to turn it on. But I'm really glad I can share them with you, because they're very cool. Definitely going to keep them. I've had them for many years now. Just such a unique thing that you don't see every day, especially the inside of one. So those lights are pretty cool. I hope you enjoyed looking at them. I haven't taken a look at them in a couple of years, so it was kind of fun looking inside of them. But I do have one more thing that I'd like to share with you, so let's take a look at that. These are ballasts, as you can tell. Now at first glance you'd think, well, they're the size of a single bulb F40 T12 ballast, and you'd be correct. They are the same size. But these are preheat, but it doesn't show the starter. They're interesting. So here's a sticker, and notice it says preheat, normal power factor, and it does the standard bulbs you'd think it would do. And there is the wiring diagram. Now my best guess is that the starter is inside of the ballast itself. Now this seems to be a common thing with these Robertson ballasts. I don't know why, but I've seen this before in some of their products, especially the Circle Line ballasts. They'll put the starter inside of the casing of the ballast, which is very weird, and I'm guessing that's what this is. I'm guessing the starter is inside. Maybe it's a glow bottle starter, maybe it isn't, maybe it's a capacitor that starts the bulbs, I'm not too sure. But it must be inside, because it does say it is preheat. Well, let's talk a little bit about where they came from. There's 10 of them here, and they came from my good friend's father. He owns a bowling alley here in town, and these came out of the lights that go right above the pins. Now they were replacing them, I'm guessing, probably with LEDs, but they were 3-foot fixtures that would use the F30 T8 bulbs, and each fixture had 2 ballasts in them, like this. Now, one ballast would be for the white light, and the other ballast would be for the black light. So they needed 2 separate circuits, obviously, for when they wanted battery cut out there. And we have a new battery, so as I was saying, so they had 2 different circuits, so then when they wanted, just regular bowling, or if they were doing the black light bowling, so then they could have the bulbs on individually. So yeah, that's really cool. Now there's 10 of them here all together, and they have 6 lanes, so I'm guessing they kept 2 of them, which is totally understandable, because they can probably be used in other applications. But very cool, and I really appreciate them giving them to me, because they're very unique. I tried doing some research on them online, and I can't really find these exact ballasts. You can find pictures of them, and sometimes a listing for one, but they're interesting. I think when I was looking them up, they called them compact ballasts, because obviously a single bulb rapid start one is a little bit bigger than this. So yeah, very cool. So 10 of those. I haven't tested them, but I do know they work, because I saw them working before they were taken out. So I really hope the light isn't drowning out my face. If it is, oh well, I guess you can't see my face. But I really do hope you enjoyed looking at these different things today. I enjoyed sharing them with you, and it was cool to just see inside and how they worked. I was actually quite surprised the differences between the 2 end of runway lights. I thought they would be kind of the same inside, and they are, but like the parts were slightly different from replacements over the years. So that was really cool. I'll try to do more research on them, and maybe we can get them turned on someday, but as of now, I don't know too much about how to get them turned on. I'd have to rewire them and find that ceramic looking thing, whatever it does. So anyway, I really do hope you enjoyed the vlog today. And also please comment, rate, share, and subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.